What's going on, guys? BLAZIN here, and welcome back to the channel, guys. We are here with the Knights of Teleria. We've got Jarec Gaming to the, I guess, left of me, right? And then on the top right, we've got O'Toole. Jarec, how you doing, my man? How you been? Haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah. All good, sir. All good. As you can see, I've lost 10 years.
I know, baby face. Makes me look a little older, you know?
I know, man. I know. It's just, as I was just discussing, guys, heat wave here, had to just change. Just thin, as you say, t-shirts and linen, trying to cool down. So, but no, all good, sir. Thank you very much. Hope you guys are great.
How about you, Thule? How you doing? How's everything going?
I am enjoying the heat break. We got 3 days of rain coming, so I'll take it. It's nice and cool today.
Nice. So we're gonna ask a question, and hopefully, you know, not too private, but are you a steak guy or chicken? Jarec, we'll start with you.
I'd say chicken. To be fair, need to get that protein. Although it's a steak committed, also protein, but I like the lean protein chicken. Versatile.
Okay. Julie, what about yourself?
What time of day are we talking? Are we talking like midday, dinner time?
Any day.
Anytime. All right, so chicken's definitely the more versatile option here, but I am a steak lover. You know, if I'm gonna cook something for dinner, I am grabbing a ribeye, a fucking New York strip, something, and slapping that shit on there. Let's go.
Oh. I think here we go.
What's that, man? Do you need some recipes or something, or
No.
delivery of meats? Delivery of meats arrive. It's like, what am I gonna do?
Yeah, that's what I asked the stream when I don't know what I'm making. I'm like, hey, what you guys doing tonight?
Hold on. Let's see. People are saying you're a little too loud. We'll just turn you down something right there. Okay. Let's go back. We just messed that up. There we go. Okay. All right. Me myself, I am a 100% steak guy. I pretty much despise chicken. I can't do it. It's just so bad. So
what have you got against chicken?
Yeah, like what?
What has a chicken done to you, man? You're like attacked on a farm.
Like I'm telling you, like chicken done well, it can be so juicy and tender, whoa.
But I'm just saying, like a nice steak, like steak tips, just don't.
No, you said you hate chicken.
I do. I don't.
Prefer
like we're not even in the
chicken, man.
Yeah, we're not talking like edible versus like I love this, and I'll just like if I had a choice, I'd choose this over this. You're just like, nah, I hate chicken.
I completely do. I am not a fan of chicken whatsoever. Like, you can ask my wife. Anytime we go out, my first thing is always steak. That's it. And
it's okay to be wrong. It's okay to be wrong.
Man, variety is the spice of life, man. You can't just say no.
Everything tastes like chicken, though. You know what I mean? Like it's the golden standard. You
That's why he hates it. That's why he hates it so much. Everything just tastes like this stuff, man. Give me some steak.
Yeah, I can't. Just steak. Just steak. That's it. I'd be happy to just eat steak every day, breakfast, lunch, dinner. I'm happy.
Steak is a treat, man. A nice 28-day aged filet, something like that, man. Peppercorn sauce. Oof. That's like a nice treat.
All right, I think we're about to end the stream to go have some lunch right now.
So I salivate that.
It's been a good one, guys.
You know what? The nice part about having the weather being out what it is right now is I get to fire up the grill, and I'm actually gonna be making steak tips for dinner. So,
yes.
All right. Shane, welcome to the stream. Being Useless, welcome to the stream. Thank you guys for joining us. So, man, we've got a lot of stuff this week, huh? We got talking about gear sets being revamped. We got new patch coming in, and there's a lot of controversy about all of that. And we also had the new episode of Arbiter. Did you guys watch that yet?
I actually have not.
Yeah. That was a quick 5 minutes. It weren't bad. It's
Julia, are you waiting?
But you guys, but are you just not a little bit kind of like? Again, I'll reiterate this. If it was a good 20-minute, 30-minute series, then I think it's something you can get your teeth into and watch and talk about. But a 5-minute like intro to a game or a cutscene, it's you do it rather than a series. But anyway, we're not getting to that conversation again. But
I've been a big fan of Arcane, and I keep comparing all of that to this, and I'm just like, it just kills me that we can't get that kind of quality in this. They've done so great with everything, and I just failed at this team. But that I feel like they just they're doing okay, but they're dropping the ball on it. I think there's so much more. But
yeah, I guess we can just hope that this just if this does well, that will encourage them to do more.
Yeah.
I think I tweet that it's on the cards, like a bigger sort of series, and it's more to come. But it's fine. I mean, in the day, it's fine. You can watch it, and it's good to watch, go through it, and see your characters and stuff. It's just because it's just so short. You can't really get the depth out of it. I think they're just expecting you to read the lore of characters, watch the follow-up videos to kind of get the nitty-gritty out of it. But I'd rather watch that in show.
Yeah, I agree.
All right.
Go ahead. What were you gonna say, Tuli?
I was gonna say I could have just read basically these shorts instead and got the same amount out of it.
Yeah.
They could have just released a text note and got the same out of it.
No.
I don't know. Nobody really cares that much for the 5-minute episodes, and it sucks.
I mean, I think if they'd built them up as we're going to do these short 5-minute webisodes, is what they're calling it,
Yeah.
webisodes, then it'd be like, yeah, cool, I'm down with it. And you kind of like, yeah.
People
watch
expect it a lot more, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And I think that's the issue. That's my issue. I think the way it was all built up, we're bringing this brand new anime style raid series to you guys. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be great. Blah blah blah. And I watched it. I watched the first one. I was like, is this like it's more. And it was actually no. That was how it's going to be. I was like, Anyway, but I think again, that's Plarium, isn't it? Building everything up, falling short.
So let's dig into the first thing, which is this fusion. And it's actually the first fusion I'm not going for. I haven't even put any effort into doing it. What about you guys? Tuli, are you planning on doing it? Are you going for it?
Yeah, I'm doing it on both my accounts.
Why is that? Do you see some hidden value?
You love steak.
Yeah, you know what? And that's probably why I'm not doing this, because I love steak and I'd just rather eat it.
Yeah, I really do think there's a ton of value in this champion. She's actually the third best booster in Hydra. There's Nekmo, Kimmy, and then her.
Okay.
She brings block debuffs, which is one of the most difficult things to actually bring into a team if you don't have Duchess. Python does okay. She have 3 teams. The decreased resistance, because she gets so much turn meter, she's actually one of the only champions in the game that can keep it up 100% of the time. So that means you can now build all of your nukers, your husks, your royal guards with half accuracy. Since especially on Brutal and Nightmare, that's huge. I mean, you're talking about shaving 150 accuracy off your build. And then if you throw Heaven Cast in there too, with Husk, like you ignore even that much more resistance. So I definitely think she's going to be extremely useful for a lot of people.
Okay. Jarec, what about yourself? Are you doing it? Are you going for it?
Yes. Only because I've really got the mindset of it's kind of not easy, but I think the frag summon's a lot easier than the the other ones we've got to do the summons to get the actual champ itself. So I think the frag ones are easy to get. It's not too bad. I had the energy sitting there. I had a few shards to pull, so I pretty much got the summon rush done. I got the 20 frags from that. I think I'm well on the way to getting her. It's as I say, and like Tor was saying, it's although immediately you can't find a place, you can still eventually work out where to go, and she might be able to replace someone you've had again with the increased accuracy and that sort of stuff. You can easily just adjust some teams and get her in. So it's definitely worth always having it. And as I say, if you can, always get a champ, because there's something could change in the future, or something will come out and it could be amazing. Again, it's why I've got the rabbit. I've got the rabbit and it's still sitting in the vault. I've never used it once, but something will eventually probably come up where I have to, or I'll have the energy and time to redo a team. Still trying to get the finite team sorted out. That's why I'm trying to focus on it at the minute.
Yeah. So my major, I originally went and suggested that everybody should do the fusion, because I feel like it's definitely one. Not that you don't want to miss out, but you just don't want to skip fusions. You never know if it's the next Rotos or the next Brogni. But what got me is the summoning events, and they're doing 2 summon rushes, not tournaments, not a champion chase tournament, which makes me feel like they're just trying to be really greedy with the amount of shards that they're going to do for these events, right? Because usually it's about 7 sacreds is what's needed, about 3,500 points to try to get both of them. And
no, that's not true at all. That only completes one of the events, and that is if you can skip the other one entirely. Usually there's 115 frags, with 35 of them being in the summoning events. Right now you have to get at least 25 fragments from the summoning events. So you don't need very many more, actually. You needed 7, and you need to get the bottom 5 fragments from the other one and complete all of the tournaments and events. So the requirements for this one haven't changed very much at all, actually.
I just didn't like.
It's just they've done 2 summons, didn't they, rather than 1 champ chase.
Summon Rush to get the look at the milestone for this one. What's the lower point threshold? It's going to be almost identical for the next one, because it is a 20-point Summon Rush. No, we know it is. I almost guarantee you it doesn't cross 4,000 points. 4 sacreds, 3 sacreds, whatever.
Yeah,
so this shards, it's 2150 right now for the bottom fragments. Yeah. So it's really not that difficult to do.
Yeah.
I just want to say, if you're kind of prepared, how much
is it 2x Ancients next weekend? Is it 2x Ancients?
It is, but it's not going to be till the following weekend that we get the next summon event.
Yeah. But the thing is, Ancients aren't very good for Summon Rush anyway, really. They're kind of the worst ones.
That's why they did the Summon Rush, because of the 2x Ancients. They do the same thing with Sacreds. It's never a Summon Rush when there's 2x Sacreds. It's always, it's never a Champ Chase. It's always a Summon Rush. Whichever. They do with the same thing with Sacreds. It's easy to complete the event.
I think there's something else that we might be missing, but
I mean, everything so far has been extremely reasonable and on par with what we know to be fusions. 3,500 points with 20 fragments is completely reasonable.
Yeah. Jordan Roberts, welcome. Grim Goose, welcome. I still have to work on your Hydra teams. I have not forgotten. Grim Reaper, welcome to the stream, man. Guys, if you don't know Grim, he does do YouTube and Twitch. He's a fellow content creator and clanmate of mine. Make sure you guys do go and follow him as well over on YouTube. All you do is just click his name. So let's get into one of the bigger key issues this week, which seems to be this this patch coming up, right? And they've just released it where now we're going to have soul chase tournaments, right? So we still don't know the exact detail of everything, but you're going to earn points by pulling soul stones. What are your thoughts about this, Thule? You pro, nay, you know, in the middle? What do you think?
I don't think it's a problem if they make either the milestones reasonable or if they add another way to get soul stones. So right now, if you can farm twins, you get like 8 or 10 stones a week, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do Hydra, you can get another 10. So there's your 20 for the week, give or take, you know. And they maybe add 1 to 3 that you could get through the tournaments through the week. So right now you don't have that many, but we don't know what kind of point correlation we're going to have. So it could be fine. You know what I mean? It's really going to be difficult to see until we have those numbers in our hands, right? The other problem is if they add another influx of soul stones, I mean, people already were having problems with like super high blessings in arena, and they are like, imagine if people keep wanting more accessibility to these things, which I understand, but imagine if everybody had a 6-star on every one of their arena champions.
Yeah, that would definitely be an issue. Although
it's stronger than a +4 empowerment.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess it's just the next step. I mean, we had 6-star ascension. I mean, that's this is kind of the next level, surely. I mean, it'll probably come up with something else, and maybe another way to 6-star something else. But
you're always gonna have power creep, right? Like you're always gonna have
exactly.
those things.
Right.
Like I was just saying though, it's just the accessibility, right? Currently, if you want, like, I still don't have a single champion at 6-star, and I have saved every bit of the essence that I've gotten since the beginning of fucking Twins. But because I had to spread out so far, I couldn't get 1 to 4-star. But even now, I only have like 460 of the big essence.
Yeah.
So like I can get 1 6-star. Okay, that's one champion on my roster. If I had 12 or 15 at 6-star in a year or per year, it's just so fast. It's a lot of power creep. That's all.
But so on average, if you're doing both Hydra, if you're doing, if you're active in the game, you're doing Hydra, you're doing Twins, the average that you're going to get is about 15 to 20, right?
Somewhere in there.
Per week, the average. If you're on the luckier end. I don't know, man. Like, I feel it's just not worth to save them. Like, the rewards would definitely have to be way better than what they are, because it's not like we're using them like you do like a an ancient shard or something where you can get the legendary every 100. We have like a really crappy mercy system in this.
There is no mercy system for one.
Well,
but
technically, yeah.
Mercy system is by
there
more.
literally is not a mercy system in Soulstones whatsoever.
Well, you're supposed to be able to summon out of every 10, what is it, the middle one, you're supposed to be able to get something.
There is not a mercy system for Soulstones.
I thought there
no,
was.
man, it's right. It's right. There's stat. I think there's statistics, but there's no.
There is no
4,000.
mercy system for Soulstones.
Then that's a problem.
that's not necessarily.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people said that when they first came out. You could technically, buy hundreds of thousands of these and end up with nothing. And from my experience, I certainly go through that. I go through so many of these soul stones. Very rarely do you get anything good out of it. And the wisest thing to do is just convert it to essence. That's what
So
that's the best thing to do, man.
The next question is, what if they replaced one of the shard summoning events with soulstone events? Would you be happy in fusions? Fuck yeah, you would. You'd be jumping out of your chair.
It depends. It depends on which one they do and how the points are based.
It doesn't matter. Like either one, you would jump out of your chair for.
That's the thing. If you had to drop sort of 50 mortal soul stones to get some frags, would you spend $50 for that, or $300 getting 5 sacred shards? I mean, so obviously you clearly buy the mortal soul stones. So
I mean, you're talking about you can get up to 100 a month between events and sources that you can actually farm them. So 50 of them are required to do the fusion every month, and then you get 50 extra. It's literally the most free thing you could ever get.
Yeah, on something like that, I would agree if that's how it's based. But
that's what I said. If they replace,
which is why they're not going to be like that. It's clearly not going to be like that.
They specifically said that soul summon events will be added to fusions the day that they added Iron Twins.
They did. Okay.
They did. They confirmed it. It was already in patch notes.
Okay. All right. Jarec, are you for this? Against this? Like, are you the type of? I mean, I've seen some of your videos where you just pull a couple of hundred at a time, but are you one that's going to start saving all of this stuff now?
I mean, admittedly, yes. I mean, since that patch came out, everyone saw it on, Google Play. I've got about 400 mortal soul stones and about 30 mortals saved. And I can get some eternals if I wanted to, plus some extras. But again, I'm trying to be good, convert it to essence. With regards to where I think it's a good idea, me personally, mid end game, and where the next level is getting awakenings, and I pull soul stones anyway. I mean, why not? I mean, you might as well get the same kind of mind frame and mindset as you save your shards during the month for these events. So why not just start saving your soul stones for these events? So yeah, I'm all for it. And I'm pretty sure the rewards are going to be exactly the same as the other stuff. It's going to be energy, it's going to be those crappy chests.
Yeah.
It's going to be some gems, pots, that sort of stuff. I'm hoping that rather than sort of feasts and barrels, it will be 3, 4, 5-star awakened souls for certain champions. That's what I'm hoping it's going to be.
That's a great idea, and I really like if the end reward is like a 5-star blessing for a particular champion. I think that would actually be great. I think what they're probably going to do is base it more like the events on the last one that we just had, the Rousal Vlog fusion, where you can go back in and get the 5-star.
Yeah.
I feel
the path of destiny or something.
Yeah, Path of Light or Destiny. I think something like that is probably what they're going to go with. And that one wouldn't be too bad if it's, if you're just using soul stones, I guess. But we'll have to wait and see. As for myself, I'm not really a huge fan, especially now that, because I was under the impression that there was a mercy system in here, but now knowing that there
under
isn't,
your own impression, nobody's ever mentioned that there was one.
I thought there was. I really thought there was, but now that I know 100%, which shows you how much I know, I'm on the fence about this. It's just going to be another big issue, I feel, especially because they've had him priced so high. They had him the equivalent of shards, and up until maybe like the last week where they just kind of gave you a discount.
Napalmed.
Yeah.
The price of anything doesn't really influence whether or not it's healthy for the game to make an event for that. Nothing in the game is made to be done with your wallet. Every single thing in the game can be completed free to play. There's not a single fusion that you didn't save your shards for that you couldn't do. Literally. Everything is accessible to every player that plays the game, and that's the whole point.
I agree. Agree. It is accessible. It's just playing Wake Shadow Legends instead of playing, Raid Shadow Legends.
That's it, isn't it?
Um,
You're either that kind of get everything now, or it's that you play the long game, you play the login for a little bit a day, and then you play. But for us, we're probably on it all day, every day, all the time,
oh yeah.
trying to get stuff. Same for me, I don't want to wait, and so I'll just get what I need to get, and that's
Yeah.
why my credit card bill so.
Don't tell the
Yes,
wife.
there we are. Yeah, it's another
Um,
conversation. Yeah.
All right. So next we're going to talk about the turn attack tournaments for dungeons, taking as few turns as possible, and you're going to be able to earn rewards for that. Do you guys think there seems to be a lot of controversy on this matter where it's more gauged for the pay to win whales than anyone else? Do you think that's accurate, or is it going to be based off of how long you've played the game, right? Do you have the account developed enough with the gear to be able to complete this? Jarec, I'll start with you.
Yeah, man. I think you've got two factors for that. Really, it's a case of yes, you probably will need certain champions to form the best, but also I think you need a certain amount of knowledge on how the game works and to get that sort of synergy from the champions to be able to get those sort of scores. Yeah, sure. Some people can come in quite early and quickly and probably learn all that sort of stuff, but it generally comes with experience. And yeah, probably playing the game for a while to get that kind of collection of champions to be able to fill that out. But with regards to controversy, this is the kind of rubs me a bit. It's sometimes you think, why do they always have to add stuff to a game that everyone can get? You know what I mean? Why can't they just add stuff that's for people that have played it for 4 years, or do you know what I mean? Just or stuff aimed at in-game players. And fine. I mean, they can do different tiers, perhaps that sort of stuff. But I always just find it a bit when people have or are outraged because there's stuff I can't do in game. Well, because you probably haven't played long enough, don't have the champs, aren't experienced enough, or the knowledge to be able to do that. So you can't. I don't see a problem with Plarium putting stuff in for those people, in my opinion.
I agree. Tuli, what about yourself?
Oh yeah, I think more content for endgame players is the thing that most games lack. Even playing RuneScape, I waited, I'm not exaggerating, 5 years for an endgame update. 5 years for the next raid boss. Everything else was mid-game content for 5 fucking years. So
you could have played something else.
Yeah, I understand. And that's why I play Raid now. But and most games suffer from that problem because your end game player base is so small. And it doesn't matter what game you're playing. Your end game player base is significantly smaller than any player likes to think it is. Like in Raid, people are shocked when they're top 1,000 in live arena. And I'm like, I ask them, how many people do you think even play the game? And they don't even think 100,000 people play the game. And then I tell them there's like 250,000 ranked people in tag team, stuff like that. So like you have less people in that higher echelon than anybody believes. So you have very little content ever coming out to them because it doesn't do anything for the game. It doesn't sure, it's something that people can aim for 2 years down the road, but when you're getting into Raid is one of the slower games that you can play out there, right? And it's just because of the time gate. Like the game itself wouldn't take that long if you could just leave Dragon running. If you could just leave Fire Knight running. You know what I mean? If you weren't time gated by energy, if your faction wars wasn't time gated for glyphs, or, you know what I mean? Like if you could just do these things as much as you wanted to, the game would not take that long to do. So sorry, I kind of lost my track. train of thought here.
No, you're right. You're right. You're right on the right line there, mate. It's
But yeah, like I love that they're trying to introduce more endgame content. Like Jarec was saying, like people need things to do, like these faction tournaments and stuff like that. Ultra Nightmare Hydra needs to come. We need these things. I'm bored over here. I'll just throw gear on these champions I have built to try and do it just to do it. You know, like there are people that are already doing these things in places that it doesn't matter. Like Doom Tower, you get a ranking in Doom Tower on the global leaderboard, but you get nothing out of it. I mean, I know people that spend 100 million silver a month to do it, just to do it.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's just a status thing, isn't it?
Yeah. So my feeling about this is, I want to see if it's going to be, you know, how the turns are going to take, right? Like, is it going to be like one of those things where, like, if you take no turns, you automatically win, like how Baron used to be able to one-shot everything with counterattack in Doom Tower, and, you know, it got considered as no turns because he was just counterattacking every single time.
Well, that's not how they introduced this. They said that you were going to get points for your run based on how many turns you took.
Okay. I feel like that's going to be still a bigger thing of how.
I mean, that's
points
going to
are gonna
make
be
it.
based.
That's going to make your points per energy more efficient if you do it in less turns.
Yeah.
That's all that's going to mean. So like, sure, that may make it easier for you to get first place because you have to spend less energy for points, but it's not quite the same as I took 0 turns, I win.
Yeah. I'm hoping that that's not the case. How's it going, Nick? Welcome to the stream, man. Thank you for joining us. Okay.
Yeah, but I think with regards to that, it'll end up being implemented and forgotten about. There'll be a select amount of people that will do it. Everyone else is just going to pass.
I think unless the rewards are like extremely good,
Yeah.
that's about the only way you're going to do it. And we all know that with the rewards lately, they've just been really, really bad.
You're talking out your ass, like completely. They literally just had 100 essence in the rewards.
Okay, that was no. This was all those were for the Plarium event. Okay, it was for their event.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Ladies.
Their rewards have been crap forever. They've been taking them out every time. We used to get Lego books on events, and now we've lost those.
No.
Yeah.
They haven't. They're still there at the same fucking point thresholds, the Lego books. All of them.
But they're not. They're replacing rewards with chests, with lower tier rewards in them.
They're replacing 6 arcane potions with the chest. Like...
Whatever. It's still not 6 arcane potions. Like,
yeah.
You're getting gold chests at like the second to last tier, and it could be silver or books or something. Like, they're just stingy on them. They're, you know, like the last events that they've had for this Plarium Play event or the Plarium Anniversary event, I think those were great. I think
there isn't a single chest in the Summon Rush event.
I honestly, like, these events I haven't even opened them up. I think there was. No. There was an event. I did the champion training because I had so many chickens on there. I did the champion training, and there was a gold chest, and I got 175k silver. So
okay, for the 3,100 point mark, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
That used to be like 35. That used to be 35 gems.
That's not. There's literally 40 gems in an ancient shard and 10 charms in there. Like, you can literally get that. However, the platinum chest that's at the very top could give you 5 to 10 soul stones, 1 to 3 immortal stones, up to 1,500 of the middle coins, up to 50 essence, up to 300 of the big coins, or 10 of the big essence. Suck my balls that you're saying that.
How much silver are you gonna get? How much silver are you going to get out of that chest?
There's not a silver milestone in it at all.
Okay.
And at 56 and at 5650 in the Dungeon Divers event, there's 50 superior oil. And at 6800, there's a 6-star chaos ore.
Okay.
At 35.50, there's 50 greater oil. You're talking out of your ass.
I don't know.
You're just parroting what you want to say over all these Reddit people.
No,
it's literally all you're doing. Over the last 3 weeks, they've released nothing but fire events. Nothing but.
But over the last 3 weeks, they've been celebrating their Plarium anniversary event.
They're all special events. So now if they release a special turns event, it'll likely be on the same tier, just like the other faction-specific tournaments that they've released void shards for and the such.
We don't know. We hope, but we don't know.
We have consistency to say yes.
We have consistency in how much they're trying to, grab, but
parrots going. Bah, 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 bah.
Alex, welcome to the stream, man. Thank you for joining us. Okay. So next is going to be the 6-star blessing. Now grants you extra bonus stats. Now I know we were talking off camera about this a little while ago.
Did they say what they are yet?
They did not, but certain blessings or certain stat blessings are actually better than empowerments now. How big is this going to be? Are we, what are your thoughts on this? Are you expecting it to be like a 30 extra speed on on top of this, or what are we anticipating? Thule, I'll throw it to you first.
So the first thing that I'm gonna be looking at, I guess, would be just like nukers. Like, is the easiest, like raw damage. What kind of raw damage can we add with this, right? So what we have currently is what you get 10 speed. I think it's 10 for a Lego, and then you get 25 crit damage and 500 attack. And versus empowerment, we get crit rate.
Yep.
So if they introduce a crit rate stat, that's busted. That's just absolutely busted. This difference between getting 10 crit rate in empowerment and not, for instance, here you're talking about without empowerments you need 14% average crit rate on every single piece. So if you take 10% off of your requirement, you're knocking it down from needing 2 high rolls on a piece to needing 2 average rolls on a piece, right? You have your base roll of 6, and then you could get a 12 on it or a 13 and get crit cap still. Just think about like how often you get a 14 crit rate piece versus a 12 or a 13.
Right.
Just like mentally. Okay. So the viability that starts to open up in your builds, flexibility, sorry, that starts to open up in your builds increases every single time you get that, right? And I think that's probably what we will see out of nukers. I feel like that's probably one of the most impactful. Right now, there's basically no reason to get a 6-star on a nuker. It takes too long to get 400 of the big essence. It's like 4 to 6 months. And that's if you do all the events and stuff like that, and you funnel everything into that champion. You're talking about 4 to 6 months investment to get that. But right now, it only gets you the speed, and then until they do the sheep nerf, it gets you more sheep. Because if you want to run Soul Reap, if you True Fear everybody and they can't be resisted,
yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
So Phantom Touch has been people's preferable one for people that do get 6 stars. But again, it's like the amount of investment that you have to get a nuker to 6-star is not worth it, even close. So they need to buff it on that end, right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, for nukers. I mean, there's certain ones out there that are debatable that
Right, and we can talk about this, that, the other, and it's like talking about like, oh, I'm going to use this team against your arena team. Like, sure, you could talk to the fucking cows and come home, about it, but like, let's talk about something we do know, right? Nukers are something we can talk about, so
yeah.
And that's why I use that as a fair baseline example. Like, supports are a lot more subjective to what you're using in the team, right? Like, 50 resistance isn't always good,
Yeah.
Like getting a 4-star sheep right now wasn't good. Like most people were capping their supports out at 3 stars unless they were going to get a 6-star.
Yeah. Jarec, what about you? Are you in favor of this? What are you anticipating it happening?
Honestly, I don't know. I've not really put much thought into it. I was hoping it would be more. Hoping that again, me dreaming, hoping that player would be a bit more using a bit more imagination, and rather than just doing stats for your character sort of builds, it'd be more regards to stats for just abilities, or maybe it'd be like adding an extra 20%, 25% for a debuff chance, or obviously that's not getting cheap, but that sort of thing, something that's gonna what's the word, improve your champion's abilities on the whole, rather than just damage output or resistance. Just something that might enhance, or you could always like unlock a secret ability. Again, I'm talking, it's never going to happen because obviously it goes animation stuff. But I don't know, just not. I just don't think it's going to be that great. It's just nothing to be excited about. As I say, as Tor was saying, it's just going to be another number added to another stat.
Nukers already kill you no matter what if they take a turn. You know what I mean? Like, so adding more damage to most people's nukers it's not going to change anything.
No.
That's the classic example.
Yeah,
but
I mean, unless you get some sort of ignore stone skin or ignore 50% of something, that's the kind of thing I'm hoping that they put on there. So your nukers will be able to, like a Georgiad, it would have a 50% chance to ignore stone skin if you've got a 6-star. So then you'd want to put your nukers in a 6-star, awakened state. That's the kind of stuff I'm hoping for. That kind of thing that's going to again change the meta. I think this is what this sort of game needs to constantly do. Is just not let people get stale and sit there for 6 months. Like Live Arena. You log into Live Arena. You're going to see 10 champions on rotation, back and forth, back and forth. Put something in Live Arena where, or like in this stat thing where it's going to change something. So you think you're fighting someone, you realise they're 6-star. You're thinking, actually, hang on a minute, that could now ruin my whole team because I'm in Stone Skin, and he could have that awakening, which is going to be wrecking my Stone Skin guys. Just something like that. That is what I'm hoping we're going to get out of this, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I agree with the sentiment. I don't think that's the way they're going to go about it. I think it is just going to be a stat boost. Just, I think what you're talking about should be implemented more into rebalancing some of the blessings themselves. I think that would probably be better. Where you get like a percentage chance to ignore the stone skin or something like that.
We also have the 5th tier of blessings to come out.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. And I have pointed that out a couple of times when people are, going on about it. I'm like, we still don't know what that is. It could be one where you have a chance to cleanse polymorph. It could be one where, you never know. Revive on death if you have a certain blessing. So there's plenty of things that they can do. When will they do it? We don't know. But I'm not a fan of this because pay-to-win players already are going to have more access to this, right? Eventually, over time, buying so many of these stones, they're going to have access to it. So it is going to be better for them than it is going to be for the free-to-play player. Granted, it's all
anything in this game, like,
yeah, it is. Well, that's the thing is, this is
the model of the game. I don't see the argument there at all.
They do a lot of things here. Like I have to say, I love Raid, right? And as a player that has played Raid for, I think, like almost 3.5 years now, like I enjoy the game. I enjoy the game so much where I have multiple accounts. I make content about it. I do work on other people's accounts. But I feel like the way that they've gone about it and are making this right now is it's just going to make just trying to grab more money out of you, right? And, it's great for the, end game whales that want to do it, that enjoy doing it, but it's going to make it, because there's already so much RNG in the game, it's going to put a way bigger gap on anybody else. So, like, if you are the type of person that does like Arena, but doesn't want to spend on this game, you literally cannot be somebody to come in and now and just say, okay, I got lucky with getting some of this gear, or I'm building my champions the right way.
There's never been a point that you could just make a new account and be a top 100 account ever. And that's
that
the
is
whole That's the
true.
whole point. That's the whole point of the game model, is that people that have played longer have advantage.
That is true, but I just feel like they're only going to be able to. I feel like it's just going to make it difficult to try to keep and maintain new players in. That's all. That's all.
Summoners Wars done it excellent. Honestly, they bring in new players. It's a 9-year-old game, and they have significantly more power creep than Raids ever had.
No. Well, we'll have to wait and see about how all of this is going to play out. I feel like we'll probably find out sometime in the next week. I noticed that on my iPhone, I was getting a patch this morning, so it'll probably be dropping sometime in the next couple of days, I feel. Then we got new champion is doing Teleria, which I'm guessing is probably the cow, unless they're planning on giving us something special, but they pretty much already messed up and gave us Artak, who can do everything in the game for us right now.
Man's insane. They've been hitting it out of the park with the login champions.
You know,
it's brilliant.
They've been on a good string ever since Alexander, or sorry, Deliana, I guess. They did really well.
Yeah, the last
really made those
really
2
good.
months of grinding Chronum really worth it.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, it was really good, but champion lore is being added, and then the last one is going to be artifact set rebalance. So let me pull that up real quick. And this one is going to be there's a lot of people that are not happy with it. There's some people that are happy, some people that are, not.
You said the gear rebalance, sorry.
Yeah, gear rebalance, the artifact rebalancing.
Yeah.
So the first one's going to be retaliation. It's being taken down from a 4-piece set to a 2-piece set, and you have a 15% chance to counterattack. I feel that's going to be better for the set.
100%, man.
I think this is the best buff in the whole patch. Like,
yeah.
Shoulders.
I
really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to make it difficult on champions that have like turn meter boost on their A1 or something like that, like a ninja or something. But like the new champion Artak, I feel like he's just going to be even more powerful with this now. 15% chance on top of a regen set, so you're healing, you're putting out the HP burns, you're increasing the HP burn duration. He's going to just skyrocket in everything he can do, and he can already do just about everything in the game, at least for early to mid game. Like, he can solo every dungeon except for Fire Nade. But I feel like this is really a great buff. Jarec, what do you think?
Yeah, man. 100%. I did manage to get a little video out on it. Not going into much detail. Well, I can't, because obviously we don't have the actual set. But I personally think this is great. I think this set allows you to now go through every champion that you've got, looking at their A1s, and just seeing what they can do. And for me personally, it's been great. It's been really good. Just going for each one, thinking, actually, if I just add that set with a little bit of revenge gear, I know they don't stack, but still, you get a couple of chances. It can just change so much stuff, so much. You can look at the whole different dungeons in a whole new way just by adding a few little filler sets into some of your champions, if they've got obviously the right skills and stuff, And that's kind of pretty much what the video was about, just going for a few champs, like Sigmund in like the magic potion one. It's just like, his A1, which removes shields. It'd be great. It's going to be great in quite a few places. If he gets hit, he's going to hit back. Boom, shield's gone. Alil with his A1 taking your buffs on his first hit with his A1. If you do that in arena, if you do him slow, he gets hit. If you get counterattacks, bang, and he hits, I don't know, a Sifi or someone with stone skin. He's taking the stone skin off them. He's clearing all their buffs away, and that person's now ready to get hit. So no, I think it's amazing. Plus, you can still have it as a 6 set if you wanted to. A 45% chance to counter attack. You know, I used to use counter attack. Really, the main person I had it was Vizier when I had like a 2-key Ultra Nightmare team. He used to just push the debuffs on clan boss, just the poisons, that sort of stuff. But you know, that's still viable for him. It's still great for him. But a 45% chance to counter attack, I think, is brilliant if you on certain champs as well.
Yeah,
with the right stats.
You know, I feel this new fusion would actually be, you know, great in having that as a set on him, because on the A1 he can steal a buff, 40% chance buff or something like that.
Yeah.
But Thule, what are your thoughts about it?
Yeah, I definitely think it's the best buff in the whole patch, like really easily. It honestly makes Ice Golem worth farming just as much as Fire Knight as far as your nukers are concerned. Cruel sets are one of the hardest things to get with Ascensions. So now that we have other sets that are worth farming out of Ice Golem, you know, mythical resistance gear being, you know, really useful. I'm not gonna say top tier for PvP or anything like that, but it's really useful for Hydra and stuff like that for all your Mischief Tank builds. And now we have the curse set buff as well. Like it's starting to get into a respectable place. And Reflex has always been there, you know what I mean? And now we also have Artax, so a lot of people can actually farm Ice Golem pretty easily as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, at any set that's a replaceable Cruel substitute is worth its weight in gold pretty much, because unless you buy Cruel packs, you probably already have all your best Cruel on like 2 or 3 nukers, and that's it. That's all you'll ever have. Right. You know, you might find 1 or 2 more pieces in the next year to be an endgame piece, but compared to what you could farm even in like a crit damage set, or you know, especially once you now consider Ascensions, the chances of getting an endgame piece is that much harder out of clan boss.
Yeah.
So.
And that's the thing. I think for dropping 5% ignore defense versus a 15% counter attack, with the potential to do a good A1 skill, I think it's silly not to. It'd be silly not to replace that on a lot of champions.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a replacement, but it's, you know, you'll have.
It's a good substitute.
Yeah. Like you're not gonna have enough Cruel on your account. Like I don't know anybody with 10 viable Cruel sets.
No. So next we got Avenging Set, and Avenging Set got buffed. I think was it like a 10% buff from 35 to 45%, right? And it's a 4-piece set.
It was when you got crit, you counter
when you
attack
got crit.
before.
So now you just have a chance. Okay.
Now you have a chance to counter attack when you have a debuff placed on you. It's kind of trash.
Yeah.
Like, PvP just turned it into a PvE set now, isn't it? Where
in the sheep meta, it's useless. Like you don't have defenses that are trying to debuff you anymore. Like if you were in the Saris meta, for instance, she places decrease attack, decrease defense on you. You counter attack, kill their nuker anyways, and they can't do shit.
Yeah.
So PvE, sorry buddy, sorry, I mean PvE.
But
so more dungeons. It's going to be more dungeon set now. It's totally wiped it out. I mean, it used to be in for your skull crowns and that sort of stuff, but it's totally killed it.
Yeah, this killed any niche use Avenging had whatsoever, really.
Yeah, Grim puts out that it was great for clan boss, which it was, especially if you were, depending on the team that you were running, but it's kind of killed it off now. So, Plarium, back to the drawing board with that one, if you don't mind, please. Just give it a 40.
Leave it how it was. Fucking hell.
Leave it how it was, or I don't know, figure something else out. But back to the drawing board with that one. Then we have Cursed. Cursed used to be the worst set, but now is going to provide us with actually something beneficial. It's going to provide us with a 50% hex. Hex, as we all know, is quite well in for Hydra and for some of the hard mode dungeons like Spider, which I feel is going to make this even better. But, Julie, thoughts?
I think this is the second best buff in the patch, especially with the rebalance to toxic and sunsets and stuff like that. The Hex and Clan Boss, for instance, is just straight 10% damage buff for your whole team. Hydra, same thing. Just that splash damage that you're doing is really important. It's also one of the hardest things to work into a Hydra team.
Yep.
You have Mithrala and you have Michinaki. Michinaki kind of does a half-ass job of doing it. And same thing with Mithrala, unless you have Kimi or Necmo in there, they're not going to keep it up the whole time. Which is kind of unfortunate. So having somebody else to back it up or just not having to bring them purely for Hex is great. Mischief is... Him and Suffering are the two most difficult heads, bar none, in Hydra. They are what will end anybody's run.
Yep.
They will take 2 turns as fast as they can, and your run's over. Suffering, he has 11,000 defense on Nightmare. It's absurd. And he just takes the double turn. So you literally only have 1 turn to get him out, or Mischief targets anybody that doesn't have resistance, and he just takes a double turn too, and they're gone. So being able to eliminate Mischief faster through the splash damage and actually being able to target him is massive for a bunch of teams, especially the 2 DPS teams that when one of your DPS gets eaten and then you need to hit the boss with the max HP hit, and then you need to also get War Masters to get them out of there. If you can't target the boss, or you don't have AoEs, or you know what I mean, you can't even hit him with an A1 from your other nuker, it's very difficult sometimes, and that'll flat out end some people's runs as well. So I think this is the second best buff in the patch. I love it. Big fan.
Jarec, what about you?
It's definitely an improvement on what it was. I mean, heal reduction was not used very many places.
I'm gonna miss the heal reduction.
Yeah. Loads of times I used it. Yeah. Thing is, I personally just felt it would have been better as a 2-piece. Me personally, I just think for what are you gonna change? What are you gonna replace for that? I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. For me, it's I still don't really use Hex in many places. Again, apart from Spider. I don't use Hex at many places. You don't use it
in Hydra at all?
No. It's just the 2 Acrisias. They just...
Oh, well, okay.
Isn't it Acrisias and Chris?
Yeah. So don't need Hex. Don't need Hex with those 2.
Acrisia, you don't have a problem because you got Acrisia.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, it's great. I mean, it makes, again, it's another reason to farm Ice Golem. It's going to have a couple of sets, definitely. Get a couple of good sets sitting there, but I still don't think Hex is still required enough yet in the game to make it worth a 4-piece set to replace on a champion at the moment. But again, if you're trying to build your Hydra team and you obviously require it, then great, it's going to help you out. But personally, for me, I'm not going to be replacing too many champions with a 4-piece per set.
Yeah, so I feel like if they made it a 2-piece set, it would be overpowered because now you could have somebody like a Mighty Uko come in and you could have a Taunting and Curse set, and you could basically take care of 2 of the heads, right? Even if they did it at a 25% chance, if your Mighty Uko was fast enough, it would lock down both of those heads. So I feel a 4-piece set is justified. 2-piece set would just made it OP. That way, anybody that does just an AoE would have been able to keep it up the whole time. So I think that I agree with Tulias. It is the second best buff in the game, but 2-piece set.
Imagine if they split regen set into a 2-piece set that healed 7.5%.
Yeah, that would be insane.
That would be just absolutely insane, right? Even though we've split it in half.
Right.
Making it a 2-piece set actually power creeps that because of what you can pair it right now.
Yeah. So next we have one that a lot of people are pissed off about because what it allows them to do in soloing a lot of the content, and that's Frenzy. So now it's you get 5% turn meter for each debuff received, and I believe it was 5% turn meter for each HP percentage HP you lost. Now, myself, I am not a fan of this because we don't have a lot of dungeons other than maybe not dungeons, but we don't have a lot of content in the game that throws that much debuffs on you other than maybe some Doom Towers or Hydra. But
they killed the set.
But I'll throw it to Jarec first. Jarec, what are your thoughts on this, man? Are you yay, nay, indecisive? What do you think?
Definitely a nay, man. I mean, you think you got Nogdar, you got a +4 Nogdar, you think he's finally got a good use in the game with his frenzy set, and then they go and do that. And I think that is the reason they've done it to this set, because of the way it works with Nogdar.
Okay.
Which didn't work properly at all. It totally bugged out. Was not supposed to do what it's supposed to have done. How it works with him in regards to the way he loses energy in his turn meter. And I think they couldn't fix it. So they do what they always do, and they fix the other side of it, which is the set.
Okay. Thule, what about you?
Yeah, this is like the worst change I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, avenging at least makes a little more sense. This does not whatsoever. Like, even in an arena situation, you get debuffed, and then your debuffer gets, and then your like lockout or something like that gets boosted in front of their nuker, right? Like that's basically the only situation this works, and that's too niche. Like, for the it at least had more niche uses before. Like, it was actually reliable because you could do the same thing with like your nuker or something like that, right? Even if some weak champion hits them and they lose 10% HP, they get 10% turn meter or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And now it's just straight useless. I don't see it.
You kind of want in arena. You'd kind of want it to be almost sort of stacking all of the debuffs. So like if Madame strips you, puts the debuffs, you want enough turn meter to get in front of the person that's about to nuke you. That's how you need it to work if you're wearing that set. If she strips everything, all your protection, then debuffs you, you need a set on your cleanser or someone that's going to put shield on to be able to get in front of that person that's just about to nuke you, to then cleanse it or shield you, something like that. And it just doesn't do enough. It's not enough. 5% to me, that's just not enough.
Yeah.
No, and it doesn't boost. It can't boost you to max turn meter, which is different than full turn meter. Like, you can get to full turn meter, but if the other person's already been boosted in speed tuned, they're gonna go.
Yeah. So sentiments on this Plarium is go back to the drawing board, figure it out, and right now you're what? Retaliation's good, Avenging was crap, Curse was good, Frenzy's crap, so you're 2 for 2. Let's see. What about the third one? Fifth one, sorry. Fifth one is Curing. Now, I've always been a fan of this set, especially because the last buff that it got was, it went from, 15%, I think it was, to 20, no, it was 10 to 15 or something like that. But it got a buff increasing the amount of healing it does. So with this one now, we are also restoring the enemy max HP destroyed equal to the bonus healing. So basically, if it overheals, any overhealing it does will be increasing the destroyed max HP, right? Or at least that's what I'm understanding it that way.
Not overheal, but the extra heal that the set provides, that amount of heal can restore your max HP.
Okay,
yes.
so it's the 20% healing on top of whatever you're doing. That's
right.
Going to be restoring. Okay.
It doesn't say overheal implies that you have to be full HP, and that is extra heal that doesn't get used.
Okay. So, I think this set has now definitely skyrocketed, especially in Hydra, and there's going to be a lot of particular champs that can be used that are going to fit this niche, Pythion being one of them, I feel. But Thule, I'll throw it to you first. What do you think of the new buff on this one?
Yeah, I think it's great. When they made the Hydra problem there when they made their own problem, right? They there was actually people, I realized at least, that when Hydra was released, there would have been, because Miracle here wasn't in the game at all.
Yep.
There would have been zero way to deal with that mechanic. You would have just done the fight at 25% HP.
Yeah.
I don't understand how you would have ever said that was a fair and balanced mechanic. You know what I mean? So for them to now add a way to restore max HP is amazing. And even in situations like Fire Knight, we have teams that are actually going to be able to go the distance now, kind of thing. The problem currently, even if you can get through the second A2 of the boss, so the very first A2 that he does, he puts decreased defense and decreased speed on you, okay? And it's max. So if you can't block that decreased speed and decreased defense, he's going to kill you. Like, you do not stand a chance. Which is fine, but you got the rest of the fight to do. So curing actually lets you get your max HP up to full, so you could start the fight over, basically, right? Mm-hmm. So even if you could get back into rotation with your team, you just keep losing HP. Every time you touch the shield, you just keep losing HP. And Miracle Heal, even at a 6-star, can't restore your HP on anybody that has a multi-hit, which you're basically you have 21 hits on the shield. You're basically only going to be bringing in 2 to 4 hitters, you know? So having a set that you can finally put on somebody to actually do something, and maybe for Fire Knight 10 you need to couple it with Miracle Heal or whatever, but we needed something because that mechanic was not being dealt with anywhere near enough in any of the situations where it actually mattered.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they've definitely got this set in mind, haven't they?
Yeah, and I think this is a great target for it because it's a very underutilized set, you know what I mean? I don't think this hurts anybody's builds, you know, like the Frenzy change, you know, that hurt quite a few people's builds, and like the Avenging changes, you know, so many people are going to be upset about that, but they buffed a different set that does what Avenging used to do, but better now. So it's like, you got to get a different set, but it's that application is still there. We didn't have that with Destroy Max HP. You were just boned.
Jarec, what about you? What do you think? Are you yay, nay, indecisive?
Exactly. Yay, 100%. It's a buff. Clearance was a buff. It hasn't changed anything else. It's adding. I think it's going to be good for the Fire Knight. It's going to be good for Hydra. It's going to be good for Sand Devil for certain teams that have to go the distance. I'm thinking maybe like Wither. It'd be good again alongside Miracle Heal. I was thinking that perhaps people that use Vrask as well, I would put the 4-piece curing and then a 2-piece retaliation. As long as he's crit capped, every time he's hitting back, he's healing. And he's also, you know, I don't know if he's viable for Hydra, to be honest. I've never really thought about it. But if every time he's retaliating, he's curing people and he's curing destroyed HP. So that's a win-win for me. That would be my perfect Vrask build. I think a 4-piece curing, 2-piece retaliation with some revenge accessories. He's just going to be doing heals non-stop.
So
I like it.
I have a particular champion in mind that's going to benefit the most because of his use in Fire Knight, and that is going to be Cardiel. With that counterattack, he's going to be, you know, always getting the max HP back, right? So I feel like he's going to be a perfect candidate for it, and I'd be looking to build him in this set more like a damage build. But yeah, I feel like he's going to be great for this set. So
would you have him in at the moment, Guardian?
Would I put him in Guardian?
No, do you have him in Guardian?
Oh, right.
I think my Cardiel's in Guardian.
Two.
I can't remember what the other one is.
I'm running Bolster on mine, and I actually put Bolster on Tomb Lord, and Tio is actually, I made a video about this with Mullet. But we put shield sets on all of them, and then you put the Bulwark Mastery on Tio.
Okay.
So your tankiest champ, because you want Cardiel to be doing a ton of damage. So you put Bulwark Mastery, which does half of, a Guardian set, on your tankiest champion, and you'll pull enough damage away from your Cold Heart mainly and Tomb Lord, because they need to be crit capped and, with all that stuff. Cardiel's got a ton of base stats, so he's not too bad to keep alive. But Cold Heart's, that's a tough build.
Yeah.
It's a very tough build.
Yeah, I currently have mine just in a PvP build, so I haven't really even done my Fire Knight team. Next, so this one we're going good. So Player M, you've done 3 good things, 2 bad things on these sets so far. Next we have Fury, and I don't know how I feel about this one. I feel like they're trying to do a backup Savage set, but there's going to have to be a lot of testing on it to see how it's going to work. I feel like a Taras in this kind of a set might actually be too strong, but we'll have to figure this out. But it's going to be doing extra damage, or it's going to increase the damage you do depending on how much HP you've lost. And I feel like this is going to be good, but maybe a little inconsistent. It's going to be great for like a Ghost Second Nuka, right? But we'll start with Jarec. Jarec, what do you think?
I think it's a case of, again, testing like again. I had 2 Leos, and one was in a Fury set and one was the Savage, and they both, I mean, obviously the Savage set did a lot more, but the Fury set did do pretty well, admittedly. But again, never enough to really replace the Savage set, and I still don't think it will. Maybe for your clan boss teams and that sort of stuff, your unkillable clan boss teams, it's going to increase the damage output. I think that's where it's going to benefit the most, perhaps. But I don't think it's going to replace stuff for your nukas in regards to Savage, Lethal, and that sort of thing.
Okay.
But it's still an improvement on what it is. You've got a damage increase. I think
it's a strict. It's a strict improvement. Like there's nothing. This is all they've changed. They've added 25% extra damage.
It's definitely an improvement. It's just whether or not it's still gonna change anything. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's basically a return to the Bat Eater. I think this puts Bat Eater into a faster 1-key situation than all of the Mythair teams now. It goes at a quicker ratio, so the boss is actually getting ticked from his debuffs a lot faster, things of that nature. So I think you'll see Bat Eater start 1-keying in like 7 minutes, 8 minutes. And that's it. I think that's pretty much the only case that it comes in. Fury, as a set before, with Leo specifically in Skull Crown, because they have the unkillable buff, right? Their set, it was very comparable to a Savage set. So it will probably outpace in certain situations, and it's going to be like, well, if you don't have a Savage set for this champion, you might as well use a Fury set kind of thing. But I don't think people are going to be going out of their way to be putting Leos and Skull Crowns in Fury sets,
Yeah. No, I feel, like I said, I think with like a Taras, especially because he loses so much of his HP when he gets hit, I think, this might actually be a meta set for him. We'll have to wait and see. Because we know, ignoring defense, most champions right now are built with, between... in the endgame arena, I should say, are built between 4 to 5k defense. And ignoring that is great, but trying to beat through that stone skin on the tanky champions is probably the problem. And if you're increasing the damage that, somebody can put out on like a Go Second team, I think that might actually be work for them. So this set, I think we're all in a favor that it got a great buff. It worked out well.
Yeah,
it definitely didn't nerf it.
That's it. And if you're running that Cardiel team, where everyone gets killed, she brings them back, and their HPs are low. On not what's his name with the Kitus? Is it Kitus?
Kitus, yeah.
If you're running that Kitus would be a great a great
Oh
one to
my!
have it
I
on,
didn't
that
even
sort of
think
thing.
about Kitus. That's
As
going
like
to
a meme
be...
team, do you know what I mean? But that's like a meme team. Do you know what I mean? It's not.
Yeah.
That's where you. For me, that's the kind of fun stuff in Rage. You know what I mean? Where you just think about things that could do it, and you do it as a bit of a laugh and a bit of a change up, and that for me, yeah, that would it be. The kind of cardio Kitus bring back team. I like that.
No. It might also make the Cardinal teams, when you have like your nukers and stuff, die off and come back. Might have those teams be really strong.
Yeah.
Someone's +4 fully could come back with 50% increased damage.
Yeah. Well, let's say the Sand. What about the two teams, the Duro Sand Devil? Where she's
Yeah.
bringing you back all the time, and the health's low. Was it Ninja? Is it
Ninja.
her and Ninja?
Yeah, well, there's
Yeah.
anybody you can use a lot of champions for it. There's different
Maybe we
skins,
could
but-
could make people start smacking enough that they become viable options over him. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And these max HP hitters, for instance. Maybe they just don't hit enough as is now because you need too much more than a Savage set. Could put Septi on the line now, stuff
Yeah.
like that, which would be cool.
You guys agree with Alex? Bellinor is trash, and so that's why he can't win one key clan boss on
Nope.
his Bat Eater.
Nope, I'm gonna say gear your man eaters and your Seeker better, buddy.
Um,
Oh,
I think Bellinor is actually with the last buff because it became AOE now to be able to put a decrease attack on weekend, right?
he didn't lose that much multiplier though. It's on the
No.
one of his 3 abilities lost like 15% damage.
Yeah.
Mate, he's great. He went from my Spider 20 team to the Spider Hard 10 team. Do you know what I mean? With that AoE weaken and decrease
Yeah,
defense.
they definitely
man. It's
buffed
great.
him, but they nerfed him at clan boss
Yeah.
by like 3%.
Well, if you actually went through and then regeared everybody based on what his kit is, it actually allows you to bring that crit rate down so much.
So much, yeah. Honestly,
And it's like I think you can build him down to like, what is it, 45-50%.
you need to crit cap him, or
Yeah.
you with his aura or whatever. But then everybody else just gets the 30% crit rate plus
Yeah.
the aura, so it gets fat.
Yeah. So it allows you to do other things. So maybe it might just be one of those things where you need to regear those champions too, you say. And then last, we have Affinity Breaker. Now, I've got to say, ever since I saw this set come in, and I want to say I think it was BGE who did some testing with this on Scarab King. I've never been a fan of this set at all, whatsoever. At all. I see Thule there, like, shaking his head, but let's throw it to Thule first. Thule, what are your thoughts on this?
Why? Just like delete the set at this point. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I understand where they're coming from, but 15% weak hits still makes champions not usable. Straight up.
50%
Like,
chance. to
Yeah,
change
so
wickets.
so you change from a 30% to a 15% in this situation. It actually just like simple maths out. But I think having some set that removes weak hits but reduces your damage would be much more beneficial and something that people would actually get behind and use.
I agree there, yeah.
Even if they were like removed mastery proc, so you like couldn't get any mastery damage whatsoever. You couldn't get Giant Slayer or War Masters or something like that. You know, like balance it out so where like you're not able to actually use that champion to its fullest, but you don't weak it. You know, in short of that, I don't think the set becomes usable. You would have to have literally like a 3% or less chance to weak hit to even encroach onto just building more stats. You know what I mean? There's no situation where you wouldn't just build a nuker in Savage over Affinity Breaker.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
You know, I'll go after mine afterwards, right? Jarec, what do you think?
Yeah, mate, I totally forgot this set existed until they said it in the buff. It was it's an auto sell. It's an auto sell. It still will be an auto sell. I never used it, never will. I mean, yeah, there are circumstances, and I'm sure Thule probably, because he likes to do these things with a, very, very fine tooth comb and that sort of stuff. But for me, I just like to build them up, run them through an auto. If they smack, they smack. If they don't, it fouls. We do it again. We work it out. I'm not one of those people that likes to get all finicky and weak hits this. I can't do that. I'm just like run it. If it doesn't, I change something up. This set has zero value for me, and it never will change.
You don't want to farm Nether Spider? I mean, Nether Spider is such a great boss.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I look forward to it every rotation. I farm that one over, Fatal or Untouchable or
You can farm it in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
and then just use it for silver.
Just...
Yeah,
good
I
lord.
I don't know. I feel like if they maybe did, I agree with Thule, if they just did like a 15% damage reduction but cannot, that it would negate weak hits, I think it'd be a great set for a lore for like anti stage 20 Fire Knight or Scarab King or something like that to be able to help people, get through some of that content. I definitely agree with that. It's really just a crap set right now, and they need to hit that one back on the drawing board. So all in all, what did we have? We had 1, 2, 3, 4 sets that they did good with, 3 sets that they did crap with. So if we're talking, back to school, Plarium, what is that? Like a C plus? Grade average, barely graduating.
Yeah, C, maybe C plus.
Barely graduating Plarium. So if you're watching this, go back to the drawing board, work on some of those sets, and come back to the community. But that said, we don't know what they have in store for us coming up, right? We don't know. We've got lots of content in the game that is hidden from us that we can't see. Let's go into. We don't know what this part right here is going to be. I'm sure it's going to be farming oils for.
That's absolutely the accessory dungeon. They confirmed that
the
for
dungeon,
sure. But we don't know. We don't know what the mechanics are going to be. You know what I mean?
Right. So we don't know that. And then what we also don't know is what is the faction wars boss going to be for the new faction. What's it called? The why am I drawing?
Sylvan Walkers.
Sylvan Watchers. Yeah, we don't know
Yeah.
what the faction was. Maybe they'll throw a monkey wrench in there, and we'll have to have something else. But it's going to be. I feel like it's going to just be go back to the drawing board, right? It's not going to be. These sets aren't going to work. So
No, it's not. There's a lot of outrage already for that. For the frenzy set.
Frenzy set, yeah. Frenzy set
Yeah.
because it messes up, like YST did the video about Bommel, and it messes up their Bommel runs, and people are like, well, that was the one way I was able to get my Bommel run done. Now you've just messed it up and I can't do it anymore. So it's going to be, interesting. I feel like the curing set is probably aimed again towards Fire Knight hard mode.
Yeah.
I
think they're resisting. They're really resisting buffing the amount of turn meter freeze does. So they're trying to find other ways to get survivability around it.
I think I'm okay with them giving us better enablers for the dungeon.
Yeah.
And just better ways to deal with it. If they want to leave it as is, that's fine in my opinion. I think that's a healthy approach, because if you make it too accessible, you know what I mean, then you have like mid-game people that get a little lucky just kind of fucking crushing it. Which Savage in particular is a touchy issue. Like people get scared when they see a 12k nuker.
Yeah. So it has been a wonderful time with you gentlemen. Guys, both of these gentlemen have YouTube channels. Thule has Twitch, so if you guys have not yet followed them, click on their names, go on their YouTube channels, just click subscribe. It does not cost anything. They appreciate it. They both put out great content. I'm actually in the midst of building my Fire Knight Hard 10 team, and I'm actually probably watched Thule's video like 6 or 7 times right now, trying to figure that out. But yeah, so it's that time. Shoutouts. Who wants to go first? We'll throw Thule under the bus first. We'll go with you first. You got a shout out for me.
I'm a shout out Mullet Reaver. He's a great guy. One of those people that he's held the world record for clan boss forever, whatever. But he's just a super accessible guy, you know. And a lot of people in the raid community are absolutely like them or like him. Like, you could just message them and they'll probably message you back. You know what I mean? The YSTs and everybody. Like, everybody's super friendly. So don't ever be afraid to. You know, a lot of people will probably just message you back.
Yeah, just like us.
Yep, exactly.
Jarec, what about you? Shout out.
I want to give a shout out to our bro who's missing tonight, our J Star. He's as I say, guys, have a watch of his latest video. I think he's at a turning point, probably in his life, with regards to just personal life, and I think his gaming career and life, that sort of stuff. I think he's going to make some changes, and I just wish him all the best, mate, and good luck with all your future endeavors, pal.
Absolutely.
Yeah. My shout out's actually going to go to every raid content creator out there. You know, this game, a lot of us will play 6, 7, 8 hours a day on it. You know, some of us run free-to-play accounts, some of us run multiple accounts. This game is a time crunch. The fact that, you know, since I became a content creator for this game, I've watched so many people come in, and my newsfeed just keeps popping out with new content creators that I've never heard of or seen of. And there's so many people out there that are testing and trying stuff. So, I mean, I know Plarium is particular about how they go about letting in their content creators into their program, but I feel that, you know, some of these players or some of these content creators are out there doing things that are insane. You got guys that are soloing with Steel Skull on what is it called? The Sand Devils, right? So I feel like Plarium needs to kind of go in and acknowledge a lot of these guys. Do maybe like a weekly shout out of a couple of content creators or a spotlight or something. Shine some light on these guys, because they go out there and they put a lot of hard work in what they do. And you know, and they're not getting the views that they deserve, and it's really hard for them to get the exposure. So my shout out's going to go to those guys. They work hard, and you know, if you ever want to come on the channel and talk, or even be part of our content creator, you know, games and stuff like that, reach out to me, reach out to any one of these guys that's on the show. We'll get you in there. You know, we're here to help. We'll get you the exposure. You know, we'll put you out there. You know, so shout out to those guys. That said, you know, I hope you guys enjoy yourselves. I hope you've had a wonderful week. If you're going for the fusion, I hope that you achieve it. Don't miss out the 5 shards, because, you know, Plarium will just sell them to you for $15 a piece. So, you know, make sure you manage everything properly. And as always, guys, much love, much appreciation, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. All right. Bye.
Peace.